We've spoken to victims of grooming gangs across the country, and in 2022 a case was reopened in Humberside following a Sky News investigation, where we found threatening Snapchats and texts, diary entries, school reports from concerned teachers and photos of injuries that all indicated teenage victims had been abused. One of them we'll call Anna. She welcomes the government's decision to launch a national inquiry.
The attitudes of the professionals, the police, social services, from what I've heard or seen, they seem very similar in every area. Police attitudes towards victims, it's not investigated properly, and then I think it ends up being a bit too late. Like our case, it's, I don't know, maybe 8 years down the line, and now they're asking witnesses for information.
Anna's experiences are all too familiar, according to today's report by Louise Casey, who found adolescent girls too often treated as adults, not children, and that police are still not properly investigating or capturing data on the offenders. This report found that ethnicity is not recorded by the police for 2/3 of perpetrators, even though a similar report 5 years ago found exactly the same thing. Baroness Casey says instead, flawed data is repeatedly used to dismiss claims about Asian grooming gangs. And she says this only plays into the hands of those who wish to sow division in society. The Home Secretary has accepted recommendations for compulsory collection of ethnicity data and for a national overview to look at reopening historic cases.
And on the key issues of ethnicity that I'd asked her to examine, she has found continued failure to gather proper, robust national data, despite concerns being raised going back very many years. In the local data that the audit examined from 3 police forces, they identify clear evidence of overrepresentation among suspects of Asian and Pakistani heritage men. And she refers to examples of organisations avoiding the topic altogether for fear of appearing racist or raising community tensions.
All leading to the government launching a national inquiry, which earlier this year they had described as unnecessary, a clear U-turn.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister's handling of this scandal is an extraordinary failure of leadership. His judgment has once again been found wanting. Since he became Prime Minister, he and the Home Secretary dismissed calls for an inquiry because they did not want to cause a stir. They accused those of us demanding justice for the victims of this scandal as, and I quote, jumping on a far-right bandwagon. Yes.
The Prime Minister, on a trip to Canada, forced to defend his reasoning.
As a safeguard, I asked Louise Casey to look again, do an audit, to see if there's anything that had been missed. She's carried out that audit, she's presented that to me, I've read it in full, and on the basis of what she's found, she says there should be a national inquiry. I've looked at her report, I've considered that material, I think she's right, and that's why there'll be a national inquiry.
Anna will welcome new laws to protect children from being blamed for the crimes committed against them. Obtaining her police records using a subject access request, she found officers appeared to blame her for lifestyle choices and putting herself at risk.
Every time I look at it, I still think it's shocking. It was the same sort of terminology. Lifestyle choices, liar, attention seeker, and the majority of it was negative, like bad attitude. It was really rare that I'd come across something where they were actually listening or they were concerned.
Baroness Casey's report contains a whole chapter titled Denial. She says it's time for honesty and a focus on protecting children. Jason Farrell, Sky News.